Our Mendip stone chippings are a very popular choice for driveways, paths, flower beds, and also drainage channels. You might have seen a lot of modern designs of paving. There's a small expansion joint or drainage channel around the edge of the paving, and we find that our Mendip stone's used increasingly for applications like that. But predominantly we sell this stone for driveways. It's a very hard wearing stone. It doesn't crush down or perish over time. It's a cool to mid-dark grey stone with occasional hints of purple and red within it. In the summer you'll find that the warmer red tones are probably more prevalent. It'll look a little bit more purpley to the eye, and then in the winter it tends to look darker, more like a charcoal grey. This stone works really well with a lot of more sort of modern house designs. You'll see a lot of houses with sort of white rendered walls, anthracite door frames and windows, and the Mendip stone really complements this type of house design. It goes really well with any kind of cool colour tone, so anything kind of like grey with hints of blue or black, it tends to match up well with. As with a lot of the stone we supply, Mendip stone looks very different in different conditions. So when it's wet, it will look a lot darker. You'll probably lose a lot of that colour variation, it'll look more flat. Whereas when it's dry, you'll notice that it looks a lot lighter, you'll notice the colour variations popping a little bit more. This is absolutely normal for natural stone, and it's one of the characteristics of the product. One thing to note about our Mendip stone is that it comes from a quarry that is surrounded by clay. It's a very reddish sort of clay, and when it's freshly quarried, it can look very red. A lot of this substance is just stuck to the surface and it washes away very quickly, so you'll probably find once it's rained once or twice heavily, it'll start to look like the pictures on our website and the Mendip stone within our display garden. Like all of our stone chippings, this is angular in shape. Unlike shingles and other forms of gravel, which tend to be kind of more round or pebbly, they can migrate a lot, and for driveways this is kind of a fairly big issue. It can flick off your driveway onto the road, onto the street quite easily. Whereas our stone, although obviously it's still loose, it will still move if you kick it, but the angular shape tends to help it lock in together and bed down. So it does prevent migration, again why it's ideal for use for driveways. Our recommended coverage for this stone is that a tonne covers roughly 14 square metres. So that's at a depth of 50 mil. The reason why we recommend this depth is that it's the depth where you can almost guarantee you won't see anything underneath. So your sort of sub base will be completely covered at 50 mil. You don't need to spread the stone any thicker than that. Some people do, but you don't have to. It's probably optimum really to have a 50 mil depth. And of course you've got to remember that these coverage guidelines are an estimation, and coverage on your actual job might differ, but they tend to be there or thereabouts. We supply this product in a graded 14 to 20 mil size. That's an approximate grade, and we find that's the ideal size for driveways and paths. It tends to be small enough to bed down and lock together well, but big enough not to get caught in tyres and things like that when you're using it for a driveway application.